Well, hello, good people. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I appreciate each and every one of you guys. So, my wife always throws curveballs at me, and so we've been doing pho, basically Vietnamese soup, and we want to try and do this because we're learning that there's could be some issues with the bone marrow and this, that, and the other. I don't know. I just go with the flow. So I'm actually trying to do a vegetable pho, okay? And I'm thinking it should still be pretty tasty because you do have a distinctive taste from the meats, but if you know when you first do this, the top of it, you get that sludge and that skull. It's just kind of nasty. So you get all those flavors because of having the coriander, the star anise, the clove, those toasted vegetables, as well as the onions and things that you get that are basically on the grill. So I'm trying to do this with basically as a vegetable broth. We're still going to put the fish sauce in here. We're going to put the amino acid in here. And I am going to use a little bit of my beef base just to give it that salty beef flavor. And so what I have in here is I actually have some stalks from some turnip greens that are in here. I have some onions, I have some carrots, I have just some chunks of garlic that are in here. I have jalapeno pepper, and I've already toasted the cinnamon, and I put this in here with olive oil. My wife just went over and got me some celery. So I'm gonna put some celery chunks in here. I'm just gonna cut those up. I wish I had some lemongrass. And basically, this is basically making a broth, is what it really is in the grand scheme of things. If you want to call it pho, or not call it pho, if you want to call it, me making a mess in the kitchen, you can call it that too. But basically, we're going to make a vegetable broth. And so you can use all kinds of different vegetables in here. Like I said, I put a jalapeno in here for spice. I went ahead and I cut up an onion. So we sauteed that onion in here. And then we're charring an onion and ginger. And we put in a little bit of that amino acids here in the bottom. And we put in some of the fish sauce. And we gave it some salt. And so we'll put all this stuff in here together. We're going to let this simmer a little bit before we add some liquid to it. And I'm going to go out and get the ginger and the onion that we've charred, and then we're going to add some liquid to it. And once we let this cook down a bit, I've got a couple of bay leaves in here. We'll go through and we'll see how the flavor is. I've already toasted in here. You can see the cloves, you can see the star anise, you can see the mustard seed and the coriander are all in here, so this way they can float. And since we have all these vegetables, basically the vegetable scraps in here, we'll go through and we'll strain this out. And what we may do is we may take some of the turnip greens and slice those up and put it in here and add it to the broth. So that way you have kind of like a straight vegetable soup. It could work. It could work. It could actually be really good. The reason I say that is, with a little bit of the beef base, that'll give you the meat flavoring to it and the salt. And you still have all of these wonderful aromatic scents that'll go in here. If nothing else, the house will smell good. In fact, with the cinnamon sticks in here, it already smells good in here. All right, so we got our charred onion and our ginger stuff in here. We've got this stuff that's gotten kind of soft in here. And so we can add these in here, and then we'll add some more liquid to go with this. And we're just going to let this simmer. Now we may need to add a little bit more salt into it, but we'll check. We'll let this cook for at least an hour or so. And like I tell you, when you're doing something like this, don't try and over season it to start with. Because what'll happen is a lot of the spices and things take time to infuse. And if you put in too much salt too soon, you may find out it may taste great right then and there. But then what you may find out is you got too much salt as it starts to really permeate each other. So we're going to add a little bit more liquid to this. and we're just going to simmer this. It actually smells really, really good. And I'm betting if we do get some of the pho noodles and we get some jalapeno pepper slices in here, some nice sriracha sauce, that this is going to be just as good. Yeah. Well, I could go ahead and get some slices of steak too. Shh. Don't tell. Okay, so we've actually had this cooking. Now, this won't need to cook as long as our regular pho would, because we're not cooking down the bones. This is just the vegetables in here. You can see we've got it slightly boiling. Now, the dark color in here is because we did put the beef base in here. So it's got some of that color. Some of that is also the veggies. But it looks like pho. Okay, so I'm going to give a little taste test and see how it is. Now, as far as spices go, we've just basically done the coriander seeds, the mustard seed, the star anise, the cinnamon, and you can really smell the cinnamon. Let's see, what else is it? Coriander, did I say coriander? I did put a little bit of salt in there. I put some of the fish sauce in there, and I put the coconut aminos in there. So look at that, okay. That's actually really good. I actually might say that this tastes better than the bone broth. Let's look at, this is, of course, my beef base. Now, I only put in about a tablespoon of this in here. 1 pound makes 5 gallons of beef base. And this has roasted beef, concentrate beef stock, salt, wheat proteins, and it's got a little bit of sugar. Okay, it's got, okay, so maybe this isn't the best thing, but it gives it enough flavor that tastes good. You put some noodles with this, some fresh avocados, some sliced jalapenos, some bean sprouts, and a little sriracha. And I'm going to take, I've got some steak. You see that? I got steak over there. I'm going to let that thaw out a little bit. I'm going to slice it thin and put some of this over it, so that way I can get my meat. My wife can have the vegetarian style, although it does have the beef base. But don't tell her. Shh. But definitely, if we're talking about trying to make our money go further, this is one of those type meals that you can make. Basically, you can use your vegetable scraps, because this has got the onion peels in here. I've got the stalk ends of the turnip greens on here. I got a carrot. I got some ginger. I've got a jalapeno pepper in here. So if you are cooking some other vegetables, you got the onion peels and some garlic stuff and all that, throw this stuff in there, and you can make a nice stock. Another one that I do too that is really, really good is a shrimp stock. If you're peeling shrimp, is taking the shrimp shells and putting them in a pot with some butter and some olive oil, and you stir it up till like it's red. Add some salt to it and some water, and it'll make a fantastic seafood broth. Another great way to make your money go a little further. But this is good. So when my wife gets back later, I'll go ahead and cook some noodles. I'll strain this out, and we'll do a taste test. All right, so we've got our vegetable broth here. Oh my goodness, it's looking good. The cinnamon, I bought some more cinnamon, and it seems like that cinnamon is even more aromatic. I put 3 in here. I normally put 2, and it is really, really taken over. It's really overpowering. But you look at the color. Look at that color that's in there. It is really, really good. It's got a little bit of a kick to it, but it is nice. And so when you're making your pho, I have some Vietnamese rice noodles here that we'll end up putting in a bowl. You know, I always like my steak. Okay, so I got some real nice thin sliced steak. And what you do is you put that in the bottom of the bowl and put that hot liquid in there and let it cook it I have some jalapeno peppers. I got some avocados. I got some lime. I've got some cilantro. Typically, I would have some bean sprouts. But I don't have any bean sprouts today. They didn't have any at the store. But I love bean sprouts. But I also like, and I know this has got, flour and sugar and stuff in it, but I do like to have some of the crunchy lo mein noodles in it, a little bit of sriracha sauce, and some Thai chili. Ooh, some nice Thai chili sauce on here. You put that together, it tastes fantastic. And so you got yourself now, I got a nice pot of broth that I can do in here. We have actually done some of the broth when we were doing the beef and putting that in the freezer. And so you can take out, when I did that bone broth the last time, I think I had 6 quarts of it that we could just take out, warm it up, and go ahead and slice our vegetables and stuff for it. So if you do something like this, and you do a big pot of it, you can put it in the freezer, and then you don't have to worry about starting from scratch, because this actually is cooked down for about 4 hours to give it all the flavor and stuff in there. But you can go into the freezer, grab out a quart of it, thaw it out, warm it up, and then just slice your fixings for it, and you put it in there, and you've got some pho. When you think about eating out, and this is the key right now with the economy being the way it is, I remember one of the last nights I was in California with my daughters in LA, and we went to a pho restaurant, and it was the 4 of us, and I want to say it was $90 for a bowl of pho, and I think we had something for an appetizer. So when you think about this, this is probably right here $5. $5 for this broth. This is probably about $4 worth of steak, even with the prices inflated as they are. This literally is dinner for probably $10, maybe $12 at all, and you're going to feed 5 or 6 people easily, or several nights. And this is the thing you have to look at now with your budget, trying to make it stretch as far as it can, is going out for a cup of coffee at Starbucks and stuff, it's $4, $5, $6. Times that times a week, that's all of a sudden $40-some. $40 times a month, that's $160. And if you're talking about eating out dinner, and you were saying that it's $10 or $15 here versus $90, that really adds up. And so when you start counting some of this little stuff and putting it together, it becomes big stuff. And as soon as my wife gets back over, we'll go ahead and fix our bowls. All right, so Mama's back. So we've got some of our Vietnamese noodles. We're going to take some of our meat. You do want meat? Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, we're going to take some of our meat that's in here, put a couple slices in there on the bottom here, because then this is going to cook with that hot broth. Now look at that. Isn't that pretty? Okay. Now we got some nice hot broth. Look at that. You see that? And so what happens is this hot broth will cook this in here. Now you can put in, you see how it's already beginning to cook? Now the nice thing about this is it will cook it, and it won't be like it's rubbery and dried out. So you've got yourself your broth, you got your noodles in there, and then we can go ahead and put in some avocado. We'll put in some cilantro. We'll put in a couple of slices of jalapeno pepper, and we'll give her a lime to squeeze into it. And so that'll be what your pho is. Now you can get spring onions if you want. She's like reaching out and trying to grab a hold of it here. But you can get yourself some spring onions. You can get some straw mushrooms. You can get all kinds of stuff in there. Now, sriracha. We put the sriracha up here, or is it back in the fridge?
It's up there.
Okay, let's see. It's in here. Sriracha is real good with it. I like to cheat and actually use some Thai chili because that's sweet. So you put the sriracha with the chili sauce. You get the hot and you get the sour. I mean, hot and the sweet. got too much stuff up in here. I don't see the sriracha.
It's not on this wheel.
No, we got a lot on the wheel. Nope, I see the Hussein sauce. I see everything but. Oh, there it is. It's behind the olive oil. Okay. Good old sriracha sauce. All right.
Really? Are you serious?
How is it?
It's delicious.
So this is without.
Maybe a little more heat.
So she added a little more sriracha to it, and you can see I've got it boiling real good.
Let me have a little more boiling. Heat it up.
Look at that. That's good.
Thank you.
So that is our vegetable base. If you don't want to do it with the bone marrows, great way to use your scrap vegetables and stuff, your skins, your onions, and small pieces of garlic and all that stuff to give you the flavor. And adding a little bit of that beef base gives you kind of that beef taste to it. And real simple. Most of this is just time letting it actually cook. And boy, she's going for it. Verdict? This versus the other one.
There's literally no difference. It's delicious.
So it may be that the bone marrow doesn't give you that much taste. It's just the whatever nutrients you get out of it. So, all right, good people. So we're down another meal for you guys. Hope you all have a great day. Hope you enjoy this, and I'll see you soon.